J-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Before we get started, you can support this channel by clicking the like button, subscribe and click the alarm bell for new content and for notification when we go live. You can also purchase the new Let's Go Brandon t-shirts at tinyurl.com/DRN-shirts or click the link in the description. Democrats have accused white conservatives of being racist for decades, but now they have identified an even more dangerous group of advocates for white supremacy: black people. That line of attack was used against Larry Elder during his recall election, Condoleezza Rice after she criticized critical race theory, and Winsome Sears after she became the first black lieutenant governor in Virginia's history. Most people don't believe a black person running for public office would do anything to intentionally hurt himself, family, or community. Part of the problem is the extent to which the term white supremacy has been stretched to encompass things that no American associates with race. White supremacy has historically meant the belief in the inherent superiority of white people, i.e., people of European descent, over non-whites. The use of that term was applied to the justification for American chattel slavery, Jim Crow laws, and racial discrimination. White supremacy was also associated with intense racial violence, including lynchings, church bombings, and other racially motivated attacks carried out by white people against black citizens throughout American history. No group epitomized the ideology of white supremacy in this country more than the Ku Klux Klan, and no image captured their moral deprivation and spiritual bankruptcy more than a burning cross. What makes the ideology of white supremacy so toxic is that it assumes some of God's created beings are better than others because of something as insignificant as skin color. Using white supremacy to describe political opinions Democrats don't like is immoral. It trivializes real acts of racial terror in the past and minimizes the progress the country has made on race. It also incentivizes Americans to attack the very things, example, strong families, quality education, we need for the republic to survive. That is why it is worth honestly assessing major positions on the left and right, expressed through culture and policy, to determine whether any of them advance notions of white superiority or black inferiority today. Regarding the family, the 2020 Republican platform states, traditional marriage and family, based on marriage between one man and one woman, is the foundation for a free society, and has for millennia been entrusted with rearing children and instilling cultural values. The 2020 Democratic platform only mentions marriage one time, in connection to the practice of forced marriages in other cultures. Democrats do not see the nuclear family as a necessary ingredient for positive social and economic outcomes. Their platform and rhetoric reflect a worldview that believes the government can play the role of provider that has traditionally been the responsibility of husbands and fathers. Another issue closely linked to the family is abortion. The differences between the two parties could not be clearer. Republicans are generally opposed to abortion and want to repeal Roe v. Wade. Democrats seek to codify the landmark Supreme Court decision to prevent state laws from restricting abortion. Several states, including New York and Illinois, have legalized abortion up until the point of birth. Education is another area where distinctions are clear. Conservative support for school choice, including public charter schools and voucher programs, is based on the belief that parents know what education options are best for their children. Some liberals are in favor of school choice, but many others want to limit charter schools and oppose vouchers because both are seen as competition by the teachers' unions that overwhelmingly support Democrats. The left also believes in injecting race essentialism and gender ideology into K-12 classrooms. Large urban school districts across the country are eliminating entrance exams for specialized schools, gifted programs, and grades in the name of equity. Crime also provides an opportunity to see the differences between conservatives and leftists, both in rhetoric and policy. The conservative response to an increase in crime, including violent offenses, is typically a call for more police officers and law enforcement resources. The left's response in recent years has been defunding, decriminalization, and de-incarceration. Democrats see American policing as a leading cause of racial disparities in incarceration, but ignore the fact that black people are disproportionately the victims of violent crime. The differences in worldview extend to culture as well. The left completely supports public displays of sexuality in music, movies, television, or awards shows. Leftists even promote it to children through Drag Queen Story Hour and LGBTQ messaging in shows for toddlers. Conservatives typically support parents who see these things as inappropriate for young children. Prominent liberal outlets like Teen Vogue also support prostitution, pornography, and other forms of sex work. Conservatives have been on the other side arguing that the body was made for more than performing degrading sex acts for money. My question to any Democrat who cynically accuses conservatives of promoting white supremacy is simple: whose worldview would a grand wizard endorse? Would he applaud a pro-abortion agenda that leads to half of all black babies in New York City being aborted, or support a pro-life platform that would lead to a larger black population in America? Would he call for defunding the police in response to the murders of black people living in high-crime neighborhoods? Perhaps he would be like Democratic Representative Cori Bush and call for defunding the police for the black citizens being killed at a rate 7 times higher than white while paying $70,000 over 2 months for private security. Given the link between family structure and social outcomes, would he want more children raised by single mothers or nuclear families? Would he see strong black men who love their wives and are dedicated to their families as a threat or an asset? Would he endorse a hip-hop culture that uses black artists to promote murder, misogyny, and drug abuse to black teens enticed by money and fame? If he did, would he also volunteer his daughter to have her body groped on camera by artists? Would he think being white is a privilege? Would he see anything that is all black as segregated and inherently inferior? Would he want black students subjected to lower standards in school by teachers eliminating high standards for the sake of equity? Would he be happy to learn that wealthy liberals like the Obamas and Bidens send their children to expensive private schools while blocking similar opportunities for low-income black students? These are all questions Americans should ask themselves if one party is committed to using a term as loaded as white supremacy as a rhetorical cudgel. I bet many would be surprised to find out who's behind the sheets. Let us know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share and subscribe. And check out our Patreon for exclusive content and DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time.